Hello and welcome to my channel. If you remember last week, we worked on this figure right here, this Nightwing. And you know what, one of the pieces I said that we were going to talk about this week was going to be this chest piece. And what I've done is I've constructed this chest piece out of a material, it's a thermoplastic, and it's called Worbla. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to construct the chest piece so that you can create your own custom Nightwing. The material I'm going to be using for this project is called Worbla. And as you can see, it's pretty inexpensive. It's about, maybe 12 bucks for a 10 by 10 sheet. And you can get it in a variety of colors. It's in black, it's in transparent, it's in a pearly color. It's also in the parcel color, which is the cheapest one. That's the one I'm going to be using today for my project. Now, when I was creating my armor piece, I thought about what I wanted to have covered on my figure and how I was going to kind of like attach it to him. And I got a rough sheet of paper and I was just like marking where I needed to have it tucked in and kind of like fitting it and checking to see where it would, I guess, kind of wrap around the figure. And so when I was done, I came up with this template. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to take this template and I'm going to kind of trace it onto my Worbla material. And I think I'm going to leave some space down here at the bottom so that I have a little, I guess, like robin or this little insignia that's going to be on there. And I'd like to do that on the bottom and then adhere it to the chest piece when I'm done. So I'm just going to take my my Sharpie here and I'm going to carefully trace out around the template that I've created. Now, you don't have to use this template. I'm going to keep it in the descriptions below. I'm going to put a scanned copy there. But you don't necessarily have to use this. You can make your own. It just kind of like gives you a rough idea of what I did. So if you wanted to copy it, you could. Because, the purpose of my videos is to share what I've done so that I can help you guys if you want to do customs of your own. And, some of you guys are probably way beyond what I'm doing here with this Worbla. But, for those of you guys who want to try customizing and do some kind of like basic stuff, it's a good alternative. Let's see, I think I am done. So now that I've got my shape traced out, I'm going to go ahead and get some scissors and begin cutting. Now this material, it's not too stiff. It's got the, I guess, consistency of like cardboard. So it's not difficult to cut. It's just like, kind of thicker material, so it's not going to cut like paper, but it's pretty easy to cut. And you can easily over travel, so be careful. Make sure that you stay on the outside of the lines. Ooh, I went too far. Okay, I think yeah, that was the toughest part right there. That little semicircle. Okay, looks like the rest is kind of like downhill. Again, remember, don't overcut. Try to stay on the outside of the lines because you would like it to be symmetrical when you're done. And this little notch right here is going to be important because I need to wrap it, and once I melt that, that's going to be the point, that like the pivot point that's going to go around the neck. I think I need to cut this out just a little bit more. It looks like it's going to be a little too narrow for the neck. All right, I think I have it cut out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the heat and shape it over this torso right here, this bare chest. That way I can pick up some of the detail of the musculature and stuff. So once I get that down, I think we should be good. Be right back. Now to heat this material up, I'm going to use a small little heat gun. This is like a craft heat gun, and it's not too hot, but it gets hot enough so that you can manipulate this. You can see it's already starting to melt. It doesn't take a lot of heat to get this thing to melt. And what I decided to do is keep the glossy side up so that when I do paint it, it'll it'll look a little glossy like armor. You'll see it starts to melt, and it looks kind of like cheese that's starting to melt. It's really weird. And I think, let me make sure that all portions of it are melted. I think that's good. Now I'm going to take it, and I'm going to place it on my figure. And this stuff like solidifies pretty quickly, so remember to push it into the chest so that you can get the musculature. See that's picking it up. And I'm going to, I guess, kind of roll the sleeves a little bit. And don't worry, because if you don't get it right the first time, you can go back and you can remelt this. It melts pretty easily. You can even melt it on the figure. It looks pretty good. Looks like I might have this on my first shot. It's already starting to harden, I can feel it. All right, I'm just trying to make sure that that's symmetrical, and I think it is. Yeah, that's looking great. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that set, and I'll be right back. All right, I think the Worbla is finally kind of like hardened. Let's take a look at it on the figure. Look at that. It has a nice like waxy appearance, which is really cool. You know, they sell it in different colors, and this was the least expensive. What I am thinking is, I think I'm going to buy the black one. Because you know, with the black one, if I could just like, I wouldn't even have to paint it. I could just like mold it and, you know, trim it a little bit, and it'd be super cool. So I think the next batch that I buy is just going to be the black stuff. And it's a little bit more expensive, but just a couple bucks. So I think I'll do that in the future. That way I won't have to paint it. Because I'm going to have to get a gloss paint and paint that on there. And then, you know, once I put the emblem on there, I'm going to have to hand paint that as well. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I did notice a little bit of a bulge over here on the side, but all I need to do is just get a little heat, apply that, press and hold it, and I think I'd be okay. See, that's what I'd have to do, is just heat it and kind of hold it right there. I do see a couple areas I might need to trim. I might need to trim these back a little bit, and I'm definitely gonna have to trim this. I thought this would be cool, like a little cod piece, you know, pseudo cod piece, but it kind of restricts the movement, and when it turns this way it really bulges out. So I think I'm gonna have to trim that down a little bit. I don't think it's too difficult. Once it's solid, it's just like it was before. I mean, you can still trim it with your scissors. It's not a big deal. So I think basically my piece is done. You know, just like I said, a couple of trims here and there, and I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna paint it, and let's take a look at the end result. Yeah, once you get it painted, it looks great. Look at that. Maintain the detail in the chest, right? The abdominal muscles, the pecs and stuff. It really looks good. I ended up cutting back that bottom piece, that pseudo cod piece. I ended up cutting it back quite a bit just because, here, let me show you. It really restricted the movement of the figure. And I wanted to have some good range of motion on this figure because I'm going to be taking some photos of it. If you remember last week, I talked about this being the second installment in a series that I'm doing based on a challenge I've given some of my friends, you know, over at Fanboy Cantina, and also J-Spy. They're working on one as well. And this is the second piece to that installment. But I'm very happy with the results. You know, that Worbla material, it's inexpensive, it's easy to use. You saw how simple it was, and you can be shaped into a lot of different, I guess, forms. You know, I'm thinking maybe some leg pieces, you know, of armor. It'd be cool, I don't know, maybe to make a stormtrooper outfit. I don't know how you do the helmet, but you know, that might be something I might be, you know, kicking around in my head for a while there, because I think it would be cool. You could get a black bodysuit and then glue on some of the Worbla pieces. You know what, Worbla does come in black, and I wish I would have gotten the black instead, just because I think it would have made things a lot easier. I wouldn't have had to paint it. I used some paint that I had, it was like a semi-gloss that I used for my Monster High Roadster, and I painted it. And that would be a step that I wouldn't have to do, you know, if I bought the black stuff. And it's just a couple dollars more. And then I ended up taking this picture of the insignia, cutting it out of some Worbla, and then heating it up and just putting it directly on the piece before I painted it, and it just adhered. I was just doing it to test it, but it stuck into the material and it became almost one. So, you know, if you let it dry, there's really no way to take it off once it does dry. So make sure that you get the placement of that where you want it. You can see the notch in the neck is serving its purpose by just providing that nice curvature around the neck, and I maintained the musculature here in the chest piece. Everything looks great, and it's a great material. So until next time, have fun, stay safe, just play with your Migos and have a good time. I'll see you soon. Next week I think we're going to work on a diorama, so stay tuned. We'll see you then. Bye bye now. Take care.